Welcome back. Lawmakers continue to fight on Capitol Hill over the war powers resolution after the strikes ordered by the White House on Iranian nuclear facilities last weekend. Now, earlier today, Representative Ro Khanna remained confident that the war powers resolution will proceed to a vote.
The war powers resolution that Massey and I introduced is still ripening. We expect that it will ripen by the middle of July, and then we hope that it will get a vote.
I want to bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion, who is monitoring developments on the Hill today. Thanks for joining us, Nikole. House Speaker Mike Johnson argues that the war powers resolution is unconstitutional. What's his reasoning for this, and where does the Senate stand when it comes to this issue?
Well, it's not so much that he argues it's unconstitutional. It's more he just doesn't see that this is the time to do this, particularly in light of the strikes that took place over the weekend. What he does argue is that he believes that under the Constitution, the president does have the authority to do this since he is the commander in chief. And so given that this was a very targeted strike, there's the sense of, well, why would we bring up this war powers resolution now, pretty much after all of the activity has already occurred, if you will, that we know of, right? So that is part of the argument. But nonetheless, of course, you have Ro Khanna there continuing to push for this war powers resolution, which is a bipartisan resolution, by the way, with Kentucky Republican Thomas Massey, although even Thomas Massey has suggested pulling back this resolution given the ceasefire that is underway, fragile as it is. But he did acknowledge if it holds, he may withdraw the resolution. That being said, there are other pending measures before the House as well, including a Democratic war powers resolution that was introduced earlier this week by a trio of House Democrats. And then here in the Senate, there's a separate resolution that was introduced on the part of Tim Kaine, who was still hoping for a vote on his measure, perhaps as soon as this week.
And Nikole, there is a new CBS News polling. What does it say about who Americans think should have the ability to use military action against Iran?
Well, what it shows is that, there is bipartisan concern about Iran potentially getting a nuclear weapon. As you see there on your screen, obviously the majority of those we surveyed believe that the president should seek approval from Congress, 63% compared to 37% who believe that he does not. And this kind of divides on party lines as well, with, an overwhelming number of Democrats, 91% saying that the president needs approval, whereas you have 70% of Republicans saying that he does not. And I think that is the debate you're kind of witnessing here on Capitol Hill, with many Republicans by and large certainly backing the president's actions, even as they express trepidation about the U.S. being drawn into a wider conflict here. But Democrats by and large continue to blast the president for not consulting them and really bypassing them in this process.
Yeah. Nikole Killion on Capitol Hill for us today. Thank you so much for your time.